I feel more for Aaron than anyone. He's invested so much into this organization, so much into this journey that he's embarked on, and wanting to be a part of what we've got going here, and how much he's invested in not only this organization but his teammates, himself, this fan base, the city. So I have a lot of emotions for him. As for us, it doesn't. I it it's really all about him. It is. I don't look at it like woe is me here for the organization. I think guys are excited about being able to step up and continue the things that we've been building, but a lot of hurt for Aaron.
A lot of hurt for Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets and their organization. That was head coach Robert Saleh speaking into the media after obviously the devastating injury that took place this previous Monday night against the Buffalo Bills, and what we saw was, a team in the New York Jets that obviously had a lot of hope, and there was a lot of hype involved with this particular team this season. And unfortunately, injuries are a really bad part of sports. The NBA, the NFL, wherever. It's a bad part of sports. And so Aaron Rodgers, 39-year-old legendary quarterback, formerly of the Green Bay Packers. He spent his illustrious career with the Green Bay Packers. Is obviously going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And if you've watched this past offseason, he's was traded to the New York Jets. Lot of hope and hype around the New York Jets, and they're rightfully so. I mean, they took a 39-year-old quarterback, but this is not an average 39-year-old quarterback. He is firmly cemented in the top 10 of greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. You can take whatever list and whoever you want to put in there, Aaron Rodgers fits. So, I feel bad for the Jets fans, New Yorkers all across the world that had a lot of hope for the Jets. The Jets haven't won a Super Bowl since 68, 69, one of those years. So it's been a very long time. And they've been a hard luck franchise, honestly. The Giants, they've been the Giants' sort of little brother, because the Giants have had traditionally more success over the years with, several Super Bowl titles. I believe they have 4 Super Bowl titles to the Jets 1. And the Giants' most recent Super Bowl, I believe, was either in 2011, I want to say, or 9. I always forget the year. I think it was 2011 when Eli Manning and the Giants defeated the Patriots for the second time, defeating the Patriots. But Aaron Rodgers brought a lot of hype, a lot of hope. It just feels like, in the spirit of Biggie, the notorious Biggie Smalls, B.I.G., Brooklyn's finest, and New York is on my mind. Feels like the show could be called It Was All a Dream. I didn't used to read Word Up magazine. I was reading and watching Hard Knocks and watching the scene around One Jet Drive and watching this team and its now wounded warrior, Aaron Rodgers. One of the best has ever done it. What's going to happen? It's an Achilles injury now with Aaron Rodgers. Achilles injuries are very tough. There's some hope that he could come back. He is 39. He'll be 40. This is a year-long injury, and you hope to come back. Some people have come back from it. But the injury to the Jets is not the first time they've had, a marquee quarterback. Maybe not at this level like Aaron Rodgers, when you've had Vinny Testaverde. At one point in time, I believe they had Brett Favre, who was never injured, it seems, who Aaron Rodgers followed in Green Bay. But Aaron Rodgers is done for the season. We know that now, officially, Achilles injury. But I want to give a little bit of a cap and a little bit of a shake of the glass to the New York Jets and the players on that team. What I saw was obviously Josh Allen helped them come back in the game with his 4 turnovers in that particular game, which was just, I believe 3 of them were just awful turnovers, like the type of plays you can't make. But I want to give a shout out to not only the New York Jets and their players for the fortitude of coming back from something like that and watching your guy who it's been all about, and to come back from a 13-3 halftime deficit against, a perennial Super Bowl contender in the Buffalo Bills, obviously courtesy of Josh Allen, but the fortitude that the Jets showed is remarkable. So I also want to shout out my son. He's a big time New York Jets fan, Stephon Crawford. He's a good kid living in New York City and doing some good things. And matter of fact, later on this evening, we will be, I'll be in Texas for the Jets versus the Cowboys, courtesy of my son. And so we will enjoy that game. Obviously, a little bit of a bud is off of the rolls because Aaron Rodgers is not there. But listen, folks, this is Sports Bucks with Steve. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers. Recover quickly, soon. Shout out to the New York Jets and their fan base, especially my son. And get well. Just don't get well Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening against the Cowboys. I need you to take an L that night. But I wish them much luck on the season. Listen, this is Sports Bucks with Steve. We appreciate you for tuning in. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the show.
Sports Bucks with Steve takes a deeper dive into the world of sports and the impact of money, fan debates, current sporting news, and offers financial tips. Coach Steve is a certified financial fiduciary and wealth coach who specializes in retirement income tax-free strategies for individuals and business owners throughout the country.
And this is Sports Bucks with Steve's host. This is Steve Crawford, certified financial fiduciary, MBA. That's a master's in business administration, nationally certified Social Security advisor, and best-selling author of The Success Formula that featured Jack Canfield. I was the only financial planner in that particular book. You can check it out everywhere, Amazon, other places. The Success Formula by Jack Canfield. I had a nice chapter in that book. So I just want to thank you guys once again for being a part of this show and what we're doing here with Sports Bucks with Steve. Excited once again. We want to thank all of our sponsors. Tax Doctor, the Super Raw Off. We want to thank Big Well Partners, Ford Insurance Group, Ag Health Inc., Veteran Car Donation, U.S. Medical, ERC FNC, and our new sponsor coming up, Genesis Family Dentistry. And this is Steve's Arc. In the essence of Noah, this is Steve's Arc, and we're here to give you a thrill ride. I want to thank KCAA Radio, ESPN Charlotte, and all the other major podcast platforms that we are now on, and other radio stations across the world, across the globe, across the country. This show, it was all a dream. Aaron Rodgers injured. NBA world champs? Let's talk about it. This is Sports Bucks with Steve. Listen, I want to get right into our cover story today. And we're going to go and we want to talk about FIFA and the World Cup. World Cup. There's been a lot of conversations by a 6-time world champion track and field, Noah Lyles. And he took a lot of ridicule from some of the folks that disagreed with his statement when the NBA, which he says they recall themselves NBA world champions. Noah Lyles is a world champion. He's competed against the best in the world. And so I've heard a lot of different things about this particular subject. And this is going to sound like, old man, get off my lawn, but I'm going to go into it a little bit deeper, probably a little bit more deeper when we come back from break. But Noah Lyles, let's hear what Noah Lyles had to say, if I can find it, in terms of what he was saying when he was asked a question about something that bothers him. And he made this comment, and it got a lot of people in route up.
The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times, but that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA.
Well, Noah says there's no flags in the NBA. So, and several NBA guys came out and talked about it. They said, there was different conversations. Kevin Durant said something. Draymond Green said something. A whole host of other guys came out. Paul George said something. And to talk about the NBA. Now, let's say this. Noah's right. And maybe he's wrong. But here's what I mean. So, the NBA is played in the United States and Canada, not the world. It's played in the United States and Canada. We don't even have a team in every city or every state in America. Think about that. If you think about some of the prominent cities, basketball meccas when it comes to high school and even college, there's no Kentucky Colonels. There's no Seattle Supersonics any longer. They're in OKC. There's no, so when you look at the other states, there's no, where are they? I'm just looking at some of the bigger cities in the country, or some of the places where basketball is a mecca, so to speak. Basketball is king sport in certain states, in certain cities. And I look at just Kentucky as just an example. Now, obviously, you have an Indiana Pacers team, so that does help. But when you look at, there's no team in Seattle. They had a crazy rabid fan base in Seattle. There's no team, obviously, as I mentioned already, in Kentucky. There's no team in Baltimore anymore. It's the Washington Wizards. And I know growing up, we played basketball in Baltimore, right? That team was taken away. So the whole United States is not even being represented in the NBA. You're getting certain cities, and you have a lot of talent that sort of migrates to certain cities when they are free agents. So that aside, the NBA does have the best players playing in this league. This is definitely the best league in the world, the NBA. However, what have we just learned from the FIBA World Championships? And before you say, I hear you in the background yelling, well, that wasn't our best team. That wasn't LeBron and Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and so forth. Anthony Davis, and the list goes on. You're right. It wasn't. It wasn't even Donovan Mitchell. And some of the other great guys. Or Steph Curry, obviously. But here's the problem. If the NBA has the best players in the world, which I would agree that they do, why didn't the U.S. team that had borderline all-stars or an all-star two sprinkled with NBA talent that would be good enough to go, and you would think, and dominate everywhere else? They did not even get a medal in the World Cup. Germany went undefeated, led by Dennis Schroeder, who was the MVP of the FIBA World Cup, and another guy in Wagner, and a solid rotational bunch of guys that are not NBA superstars or great players in that sort of esteem. Dennis Schroeder is not an all-star in the NBA, but yet his Germany team went undefeated and won the World Cup, defeating the U.S. And then the U.S. lost, who had lost previously to, I believe it was Lithuania, I believe they lost to, or Serbia, one of those two. And they proceeded to lose to Germany. And then they proceeded to lose in overtime to Canada, where they allowed Dylan Brooks, who is not this great offensive guy, go for 39 on them, and Canada beat them in overtime. So are we the U.S. world champions, or are we just NBA champions? So Noah, who was ridiculed, now seems to be right, and he has support. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I said it right. The Greek freak, the gentleman who probably has several passports. Nigeria. He was raised in Greece, and he is obviously an American. Is a gentleman that kind of supported him. He's right. So I think the arrogance, and here's another big argument, and yes, here's a stain. The NBA top talent went over, not their best of best talent, but their talent went over there and was beaten again and didn't even medal. So Germany is the world champions in basketball. Now, would the Denver Nuggets beat that team in a best of 7? I'd like to think so. But under what rule? FIBA or the NBA rules? Because if they play FIBA rules, it might be a little different. So the NBA, humble pie, maybe? I'm going to talk a little bit more about this after the break, because I want to talk about today's players and how we always say that they're so talented and today's game is so much faster and the guys are better. And no, they're not. What we are dealing with is we love our era and we love where we are today. But that doesn't mean they're better. I'm going to prove it when we come back from commercial break. This is Sports Bucks with Steve. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Are you looking for an affordable yet exceptional virtual healthcare solution for your workforce? Have you been thinking of a way to attract and keep a good team of employees? Well, your solution is here with My Virtual Docs. From virtual primary, urgent, and mental health care, a free and low-cost medicine formulary, and even pet care, My Virtual Docs has got everyone in the household covered. My Virtual Docs allows employers to provide employees and their families with convenient access to the care they need, on demand, without having to miss valuable work time. Our strong network of providers and pharmacies means patients have unlimited access to their providers virtually with no copay, anywhere they can get online and have their medicines delivered right to their doorstep. By simply logging into their portal, patients can make appointments, visit with doctors, fill prescriptions, and more. And it keeps getting better. With the use of our smart app, Burn, your employees will be inspired to earn dollars while they burn calories. Who wouldn't want to get paid to go for a walk? Here at My Virtual Docs, we're committed to helping employers help employees and their families achieve optimal health and wellness with exceptional care at an affordable price. Visit myvirtualdocs.com for more details.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they were able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less.
Call 800-268-1055. That's 800-268-1055. 800-268-1055.
Business owners, do you need money right now? Have you already filed your ERC forms and been approved? How would you like to get the money in your bank account within 10 days? Couldn't you use that money right now to run your business? That is why you filed for it, right? So call us right now. As long as you've already filed and been approved, we'll advance the money to you. It's that simple. We've already funded millions of dollars in ERC money, and we're here to help you get the money you need right now to run your business. Again, if you've already filed your ERC application and been approved for the money, we can help you get the money in your bank account within 10 days from today. But you've got to make this free call right now. This is not a loan product, and the offer is not available in the state of Massachusetts.
800-903-8808. 800-903-8808. 800-903-8808. That's 800-903-8808.
And we're back. Once again, it's Sports Bucks with Steve, and I'm your host with the most, Steve, the wealth coach, Crawford. So, as we were discussing in the last segment on our cover story, NBA world champs, survey says no. NBA champs, could they beat the world? Probably. But the UFEA, I think it's the big soccer league. One of the things I heard someone make a great point of making is that the soccer league, which is bigger than the NBA globally, much bigger, it's actually the biggest sport in the world, which is dwarfs the NFL and the NBA put together, is soccer or football. The UFEFA, I think, is the name of the league. Their champion is not called world champion. They're called that league's champion. So why don't they call themselves a world champion? They got the best of the best players from all over the world playing in the United States. But they call themselves a league champion, not a world champion. It's a big difference. When you win the Olympics, you are the Olympic world champion. The U.S. team that is assembled, they take the best of the best, and they form that Olympic team. That is an all-star team. Noah Lyles is one man going up against the world's best sprinters, and he's a world champion who happens to hail from the USA. He's a world champion. Truly a world champion. He has had to go against every person from every corridor of the planet to prove that he's the absolute best. The U.S. basketball team, when they go to the Olympics, that's the best in the world when they win that. But currently right now, the NBA is played only in the United States and Canada, and only one city in Canada, Toronto. They're no longer playing Vancouver. That team is now in Memphis for a number of years now. Do we have the best talent in the NBA? Yeah. But should they be called NBA world champions? Nah. Pride aside and arrogance aside, no, they shouldn't be. Germany is the World Cup champion. World Cup champions. The United States is the reigning and defending Olympic world champions in basketball. However, the NBA as a league is not a world league. Case and point closed. So, I did want to talk a little bit about this segment, which I like to call I'm Him. And in the I'm Him world, which I now see the sports shows now trying to capitalize on after we did this a couple of weeks ago, they're now saying I'm Him, a Hemi Award. And they pay real attention to this show, believe it or not. They pay attention to the YouTube channel, which we thank you guys are close to 6,000 subscribers in a very short period of time. So thank you for that. I'm humbled. I appreciate all the thousands and thousands of people that listen to Sports Bucks every week. You are truly welcome. And I truly thank you for taking the time out to listen to little old me. So I really appreciate that. May you be blessed. But I want to talk about something, and this is I'm Him winner, and I'm him or I'm them, if we want to get into it, to be political. Defense wins the day. So defense is this week's winner of I'm Him. The first one went to Shedeur Sanders of the Colorado Buffaloes. We'll talk a little bit about college football in a minute when we come back from break. But in the I'm Him winner today goes to I'm Them. Let's cue it up, courtesy of ESPN.
And is that the best defense in the National Football League?
Well, it's impossible to say it isn't after that performance. I think tonight we're going to see another great defense, but this defense right here is amazing. And it's not just the talent, it's the scheme, it's the passion, it's the energy, all of that type of stuff. Dan Quinn, since he's taken over as a defense coordinator, they average 2 takeaways a game. They have 70 turnovers or takeaways
it's crazy.
in 35 games. Like, they're better now than they've ever been.
They're everything. And the thing that jumps off the page, RC, even amongst those of us who didn't play or coach, they're so fast. The speed of that defense is ridiculous.
Well, on Friday, Dan and I had this conversation about how this team was perfectly set up to defend the New York Giants just because they're so multiple with what they do with their safeties and their sub packages. Yeah. Now, I'm going to ask you this. Do you know who Marquise Bell is?
I do not know.
Me neither. Yeah. Do you know who Wanye Thomas is?
I know him from calling college football.
I don't. Why? I don't. You know the only Wanye I know? From Boys to Men, and they from Philly. That's the sort of players that were making plays last night for the Dallas Cowboys. They are so deep. They are so fast. They are so skilled. And Dan Quinn uses all of these guys to the best of their abilities. They don't put people in bad positions. Yeah. And when you feel like you can play free and you can play fast, you get to the ball, you hunt, and you're aggressive. And the New York Giants had nothing for them last night.
New York Giants had nothing for Dallas last night, and I agree, or the other night, I should say. But the winner of I'm Him is the Dallas Cowboys' new version of Doomsday. So Dallas Cowboys defense is the winner of this week's I'm Him. Now, after 40-0 drubbing of their divisional rival, the New York G-Men. Now, let me make sure I put some more respect on the Dallas Cowboys' victory and their defense in particular. They had 7 sacks. It could have been more than that. There was at least, I don't even remember how many turnovers it was. It was at least 3 or 4 turnovers. They blocked kicks. They blocked the field goal that led to a touchdown. They had first of all, Trayvon Diggs. And not enough is not said about Trayvon Diggs and the plays that he made. We know how prolific he can be when it comes to getting the ball in the air and it's his, right? But one of the things that we did not talk about enough and didn't give him enough credit for was his tackling. Let me make sure you guys understand. Trayvon Diggs caused 2 turnovers by himself. The initial touchdown that DaRon Bland, one of our other wonderful slot corners and starting slot corners, who was another rookie, tremendous find. You've got to give Will McClay and the college recruiting staff with recruit coach with Vaughn over there, the Vaughn Senior, of course, and what they do in terms of looking at talent and finding diamonds in the rough. But Trayvon Diggs had a hit on Saquon Barkley. When the ball was thrown to him, he jarred the ball loose. Saquon is a massive young man. You look at he's king thighs, like he's just massive. Trayvon Diggs is not a big guy, and he drills Saquon Barkley, and the ball went up in the air, and DaRon Bland, who just always seems to be in the right spot, he had 6 interceptions last year. He starts off this year with a pick 6 and scooped the ball out of the air. Touchdown. The route was on at that point. The other play was late in the game with Dallas up 33 or 40 to nothing and had no reason to give up that type of effort. To give that type of effort, he made another winning play where he stripped the young gentleman who caught the slant on him, and he went behind and stripped it and forced the fumble out of his hands, which Dallas also recovered. Trayvon Diggs was I'm him. Now, we know Micah Parsons sets the stage for everything. The lion will hunt. He got a sack. He probably should have gotten another sack when he landed on the quarterback, but they called it a bad snap or whatever they called it. But what Micah Parsons also does is he led other people into sacks. What's his name? Izzy, not Izzy, but Odigizua. He got a sack because Micah Parsons just blew up 2 guys, and the quarterback just waiting right there for Osi. Iduzua. He got the sack. There's another sack that I think Golston or somebody got a sack, and I think DeMarcus Lawrence got a sack, Big Tank. And so because of Micah's presence, but I got to give a lot of credit to the Dallas Cowboys defense, and in particular, 2 guys really stand out. I'm going to have a third guy that really stand out. Besides, I said DaRon Bland as well, but he was a product of just being in the right position. But to me, 3 guys on that defense really stood out, and that was Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons, who's got to be his year if he stays healthy. Hopefully he will, to win Defensive Player of the Year, and Dallas continues to dominate. But the new addition at corner, Stephon Gilmore, Rock Hill's own. Shout out to Rock Hill, the city of Rock Hill in South Carolina. Stephon Gilmore, that addition to the other side of that corner position just made them really tough. And as Ryan Clark alluded to from ESPN, he doesn't even know who Wanye Thomas is. He feels like the only Wanye he knows was on Bended Knee, right, from Boys to Men. But Marquise Bell, another solid undrafted rookie out of Florida A&M who gets it done. Really good ball. Dallas Cowboys have probably the best rotation of safeties in the NFL, which is so funny to me because as a Cowboy fan for many years, that was the one area of weakness. They never had safety play. Now, Jerron Curse, Malik Hooker of Ohio State fame, who has found his career being rejuvenated under Dan Quinn after having a lot of injuries and a lot of promise, but injuries kept derailing him. My man Jones from out of Texas A&M, who was a find that Dallas picked up. He's coming back from injuries. Marquise Bell, Israel Mukwamo. There's just Wanye Thomas. They're just so loaded in the safety position, and not to mention, or I should say, but we cannot forget the starting corners and Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs, DaRon Bland, and they got Jordan Lewis coming off the bench when he's healthy to play that slot corner. So Dallas secondary is very strong. Their edges are very strong. We just want to see, and we know Micah Parsons, what he represents. He's arguably the best defensive player in the league. You can look at Nick Bosa. You can look at T.J. Watt. You can look at Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett. That's where the list stops. Then you got to start looking at the people that I just mentioned. But I'm him is the Dallas Cowboys' new version of the Doomsday defense. We're going to take another quick commercial break, but we'll be right back right after these messages.
You have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Then here is a great idea. Donate your car now and help local veterans in your area. Yes, one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program, and within a few days we will come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised goes to help local veterans and their families, and you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now and book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Donation Program now.
800-709-9174. 800-709-9174. 800-709-9174. That's 800-709-9174.
What is your plan for your beneficiaries to manage your final expenses when you pass away? Life insurance, annuities, bank accounts, investment accounts all require a death certificate, which takes 10 days based on the national average, which means no money is immediately available, and this causes stress and arguments. Simple solution: the Big Wealth Partners Beneficiary Liquidity Plan. Use money you already have. No need to come up with additional funds. The funds grow tax-deferred and pass tax-free to your named beneficiaries. The death benefit is paid out in 24 to 48 hours without a death certificate. You heard me right, without a death certificate. Call Fig Wealth Partners at 1-800-306-5086. That's 1-800-306-5086. Or reach us online at figwealthpartners.com.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you use insulin or have had hypoglycemic events, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-628-7226. 800-628-7226. 800-628-7226. That's 800-628-7226.
And we're back. Sports Bucks with Steve. Just thinking a little bit about the NFL, and we were talking about the I'm Him winner of this past week. I want to go into a little bit about, now obviously this is a big weekend for football in the NFL and college football as well. High school has obviously played on Friday, but there is a big game, again, as I said, about the Jets and the Cowboys, which I will be in attendance, God willing and blessing, and my son and I. And so the big thing that I did want to talk about is we start looking at the defenses of the NFL, and you look at where are the top defenses, where are the teams that could really contend. And I think it starts on the interior line, defense and offensive line. You have to win, and then you got to have a quarterback. Right? You've got to have a quarterback that understands how to protect the ball and understands how to make plays when the plays are available to be made. And so the jury is proverbially still out, obviously, on some of these guys. One of the guys that always gets a lot of and I did a show about Dak, is the quarterback the media loves to attack. So I think that it's an interesting thing because I think Woody brings up a good point from ESPN regarding this particular game where Dallas is facing the New York Jets. Well, we know what Dallas did to the New York Giants. I mean, and so I want to say a little bit about that particular game because I've heard so many people say so many things. And I kind of talked about a few things, and I don't think I'm going to have the time to go back and talk about the basketball thing, about the world and how the sports world looks and how people talk about the generation. I think I'll do more of that on my YouTube channel. So watch that one, World Champion of What is what that show will be titled on YouTube. You can catch that typically Fridays at 1 p.m. I'll see if I have a chance to do it, or you can just catch the replay, go to the YouTube channel, Sports Bucks with Steve. But I did want to go a little bit more about the NFL and this defenses, the top defenses. If you notice something, though, and I've been paying attention to the AFC and all of the hype that the AFC has been getting. And the AFC is the tougher conference. It's the deeper conference. And I hear all those things, and I tend to agree when it comes to parity. And yes, it is the conference that is home to the NFL champions, which is the Kansas City Chiefs. But I'm not sure if you look at the top teams in the NFL and you say the top five, we'll give you a Power Five now. Let's look at the Power Five. Power Five in the NFL, number one, San Francisco 49ers. I'll go number one. Number two, Philadelphia Eagles, barely. Number three, the Dallas Cowboys. Number four, the defending NFL champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. And at number five, who would I put at number five? I'm sitting here thinking about it. Well, at number five, I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. There's your number five. But if you notice, three of the top five teams in the NFL are the 49ers, Eagles, and Cowboys. Top three teams. And Sports Bucks top Power Five. So, and what are all three of those teams have in common? Great defenses. 49ers, versatile, great defense. Good solid corners. Nobody spectacular that stands out, but good solid corners. They got a great safety. They've got a great linebacker in Fred Warner. They've got the reigning NFL Defensive Player of the Year and Nick Bosa. And so they've got the type of talent, obviously, across the board, and they brought in Javon Hargrove from the Eagles. They've got all kind of talent on that interior line. You've seen some guys standing out and playing, and so that's a great team. The Eagles lost some starters. I don't think they're as good as we have seen before. I think Jalen Carter is going to be a monster. He's going to be a problem in the interior line. You just have to see that. And the Eagles have some versatility with some of the young guys coming into play now. They've got Nakobe Dean starting now, and you've got some other guys. You still got Darius Big Play Slay still making plays in the secondary, but the safeties don't look as good. The other corner is okay, he's solid. So they don't look as good. And they played against a New England Patriots team that Matt Jones had a field day, really. If it wasn't for the rain, who knows how many yards he would have thrown for. So he looked like Matt Jones from the rookie year when he started really getting himself comfortable. But looking at the NFL and then going back to my thought was parity, not necessarily prosperity. And I'm going to say it this way because the NFL and the media outlets have been telling me that the AFC is so dauntless and so tough. And, this is, and I've even heard people from the Fox and the sports say that this is Dallas's best chance. This is their best chance. They have wait a minute, hold on. You still got to deal with two of the top three teams in the NFL in the 49ers and the Eagles. What are we talking about? In the AFC, they have parity, but there's not really a great team. Yes, the Chiefs are the Super Bowl champions, but are they really a great team this year? They've got great players, but is that a team that can't be beat? I thought the Eagles blew the Super Bowl more than the Chiefs won it. I think they blew it. They were the better team. They just didn't perform, and that one turnover from Jalen Hurts might have cost them the game. So Patrick Mahomes, you can't let him run around and just do whatever he wants. And the NFL need to start really looking at the offensive lineman. They finally got a penalty because the guy is basically in the slot playing. What is he playing? Right tackle. He's in the slot. He's not even on the line of scrimmage. And they were getting away with that all night. So the NFL does have their darlings and their favorites. And that wasn't a great officiating game. I'll just say that. But my point is, the AFC does have really good teams. But I don't know if there's a great team, and there's definitely not a great defensive team except one. So who is that one team? I think that one team lives in proverbial Gotham City, and that is the New York Jets. Let's take a listen to what Woody had to say about the Jets and the Cowboys having to deal with the Jets Sunday afternoon, late evening, and what the Jets could represent as a potential best defense. Yes, he said it. That the Cowboys might face all season could be the New York Jets. Now, keep in mind, the New York Jets were only missing one key guy that they needed. And of course, they don't have that guy now because of, because of the injury to Aaron Rodgers. But defensively, they are legit. That defensive front, led by Quentin Big Baby Williams and Sauce Gardner manning the corner spot. Whitehead at the safety position. He had 3 interceptions against Josh Allen. Well, 2 of those were just horrible throws.
Question is, Dak Prescott against that Jets defense, what do you expect that to look like?
Listen, Dak Prescott could be facing the best defense he sees all year in the Jets. As much as we lauded the Cowboys and how they played against the New York Football Giants, he's going to be facing probably the biggest test that he sees all year in this Jets defense. The thing about this Jets defense, Green, is they don't have to blitz to get pressure on you. They can literally, with their front 4, get after the quarterback and drop 7 in the coverage. Dan would tell you as a quarterback, it is very difficult to pass when you got 7 people dropped in the coverage. And the one thing that this Jets defense does is they make you have to be methodical in you going down the field. They make you have to be patient. Can Dak Prescott be methodical against this Jets defense?
And here's what we know about the Jets defense. I asked C.J. Mosley this yesterday, knowing that Zach is now your quarterback. On defense, in that meeting room, are you guys looking around saying, okay, we got to eat more? He said, no, the mentality hasn't changed, but we know they go out looking to hunt. Like this is that front is so ferocious, led by Quentin Williams. We saw Robert Sala's whole mantra, all gas, no brakes. Like they might beat the brakes off of Dak. Like they just might. And that's what they hope because Zach Wilson, he's not scoring 40 points.
No.
You need the defense to show up. Yes,
there was a moment in Hard Knocks that so many of us remarked upon where the Jets defensive coaches are saying to their defense, we're going to win all these games this year because now that guy's our quarterback, right? Because that defense was so good last year, it deserved to be carried off the field in its collective shield at the end of 17 games because they hung in there so well.
So now beat the brakes off of Dak Prescott. Let's pump the brakes there. Dak is already the guy that they want to heavily scrutinize and disrespect, but the Jets are legit at their defense, and I don't know if it's the best defense they'll face. I'll say that, the 49ers have something to say about that. I believe that's the other best defense. I think the Eagles' defense is not as good as they were a year before, so I don't think that they are the superior defense. I definitely don't think they're better than the Cowboys' defense. Did they even get a sack on Mac Jones? I think they may have gotten one, maybe. I think with Jalen Carter at the end of that game, but they're not as good as the Cowboys defense, as the 49ers defense, as the Jets defense. I think those are the top 3 defenses in the NFL. in that, and probably in, I don't know if it's in that order. I think Dallas' defense is just outstanding. They got guys everywhere. As a Cowboy fan and Cowboys Nation stand up, my only concern, which we have many when it comes to Cowboys, is being inconsistent. So the hope is that Dallas recognizes and realizes who they are and come to play. And come to play against every opponent and have the same dog mentality that we will not be denied. And if they do that, they'll be fine against the Jets. They'll be fine against a lot of these teams. They can go to San Francisco and they can win. They can beat a lot of these teams if they come and play with full throttle effort. Dak protects the football, which I don't think he has a huge problem, outside of what the media will tell you. But and they are playmakers. The one thing about Dallas is they're opportunistic also. The Jets did something that they're actually not known to do. They're not good at turning over the offense and getting turnovers. Josh Allen made them look better in that sense because of the throws that he was making. He was just basically punting the ball on 2 of those interceptions, and then the fumble, which was just not smart. So the Jets are a very good defense. They've got a great front. They've got a great corner, I think, who can be had on double moves, I believe. And I think they're really good. I don't think they're as deep as Dallas's defense is. Dallas has playmakers all on every level. So it'll be interesting to see how Dallas handles the Jets coming off of the New York Giants destruction. But if their mindset is correct and they come out to perform, don't worry about Dak being manhandled, because Dallas also has some guys on the offensive line that are getting paid a lot of money. So this is Sports Bucks with Steve. We're going to take a real quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back to take this thing on home with my final thoughts.
It's a bird!
It's a plane!
No, it's Super Roth!
Okay, a gimmicky opening for a commercial about Super Roth Universal Life Insurance, but I'm sure it got your attention. Now, what is a Super Roth, you ask? It's a permanent indexed universal life insurance that's totally liquid and easily accessible once it matures. Can be used to supplement retirement savings or a death benefit, or both. Has no income or contribution limit. Has no 5-year rule like Roth IRAs. Has no 10% penalty for accessing the funds before age 59 and a half. Oh, and the average historical returns are 5 to 7% annually, tax-free. Super Roths also lock in gains, which means you don't lose your money when the market is down. Sounds incredible, right? Sounds super? Super Roths are the way of the future, specifically your future. To see if you qualify for a Super Roth, go online to thesuperroth.com.
Sports Bucks with Steve. Again, we want to thank you guys. A little bit of a tip in Coach's Corner. If I've got enough time, I want to go over 4 different ways life insurance can actually grow and protect your wealth. 1, life insurance provides financial security to your loved ones. That's one way. 2, life insurance can fund financial goals while you're still living in their permanent cash value accounts. That can be what we call a Super Roth. 3, life insurance can cover long-term care expenses, which is really, really important. And 4, life insurance can help preserve your legacy, increasing your gift to heirs, reducing taxes, and creating new wealth. This is Sports Bucks with Steve. We want to again thank all of our sponsors, the Tax Doctor, the Super Roth, Ford Insurance Group, Fig Wealth Partners, U.S. Medical, Veteran Card Donations, and so many others. And once again, we thank all of the radio stations and all of the listeners. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sports Bucks with Steve. We appreciate it. Leave a like and a comment. And our Facebook page, you can also subscribe and like that as well. And we want to thank you once again for taking the time out to listen to Sports Bucks with Steve and paying attention to little old me as I run my mouth talking about sports. We love some sports, as my man Ryan Star Young always says. It's Sports Bucks. We'll see you next week. God willing. Stay blessed.